Hi guys, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I am going to do a read along here of the Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound after this video. I'm here to discuss the other possible variants of Arbus, but in a sense, time itself within the walls of the Great House. So I'm going to forgo uh, outside the Great House. For example, I'm not going to include Matthew Morgan's cottage. It's on the grounds, but it's not in the house. Um, I'm not going to include the gazebo, though some stuff did go down to gazebo. Not see here's the tricky part about this too. Getting into this video, um, we know time travel occurred outside the house. Eagle Hill Cemetery, Barnabas just wheeled his ass back in time to save Victoria Winters. Uh, that's the amazing part about it, right? But I'm gonna confine this to the Great House for this video. I promise I'll be more corruptible the next video. I'll be a little more lenient. Um, so what do we know about the Great House, right? As fans, we know that it's high atop Widow's Hill. We know that it has 40 rooms. We're told that in the second episode of Dark Shadows. When you watch Dark Shadows from the very beginning, and I do mean the very beginning, um, you get told by Elizabeth there are 40 rooms, and it's like holy shit, which is amazing. So how many rooms do we actually see now? When she says we have 40 rooms, um, I assume she's meaning rooms in general that are behind closed doors, that are bedrooms, offices, etc., etc., etc. We see the foyer, we see the drawing room, Roger's study, which was Joshua's study, although, bless you, though it gets called Jeremiah's study by Roger. Um, he's wrong. You see the kitchen, then upstairs you see Elizabeth's old room, which is given to Victoria Winters, which is to let you know is your hint that Victoria is Elizabeth's daughter. Um, you also see Elizabeth's room as an adult, the room she moved into when she became an adult, which is the room you see during the Phoenix arc. Um, you do see Carolyn's room, but it's not till later on. Jason McGuire stays in a room of his own. William Loomis stays in a room of his own. Um, Mrs. Johnson has her own room. You do see that eventually. Now you do see David's room. You don't see Rogers now. You again, I'm not saying when you see these rooms, but you do eventually see them. Um, Rogers' room isn't shown during the beginning. Um, I don't believe Nancy Barrett's Carolyn's room is shown at the beginning either. If it is, I don't remember it being shown. Again, I'm old. Um, Roger Collins. Roger's room you don't see until Cassandra arrives. I do remember that. Now, what's really interesting is the parts of the house that are sort of closed off. The West Wing you know of. Now, you do see the West Wing, the cobwebs and corridors, but for the most part, you only see one actual room in the West Wing, and that's the room that David locks Victoria in, and then Roger saves her from. Though I don't want to give Roger that much credit, I sort of have to. Uh, so now they do open up the West Wing when Victoria is going to marry Burke Devlin. And because remember, Victoria wanted the house that belonged to Caleb Sayers Collins, which I have a question about that. Was the name Sayers in 19 because this was 1967, mind you. Was the name Sayers taken from legendary Bears player Gale Sayers? I sort of wonder if it was. I bet somebody on Dark Shadows was a Bears fan. Um, so you they could not buy Caleb's house because of the whole will thing that he had placed, um, and so they're refurbishing a room of the West Wing, a part of the West Wing for Victoria and Burke, so they can live at peace in the great house once they get married. Newsflash: if you've never seen the show, they never get married. Uh, there's this gremlin on the wing of Burke Devlin's plane. No, I'm kidding. Um, but his plane crashes and they never find his body. He's presumed dead. So that being said, when you get into the parallel time rooms, though, the ones on the west wing of the house, the 1970, then you have the 1841 parallel time room. No, they're not the same time band. They're two different time bands, obviously. So it bolds the question within the walls of the great house, because we have not seen all 40 rooms. Oh, by the way, we also see the basement and the locked door that's in the basement, which is underneath the house. So that begs the question, because we have not seen all 40 rooms, is there another parallel time band of the 1960s or 70s where Barnabas himself did get out as a vampire out of his coffin and decided to kill the family? Is it a possibility? Hell yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, look, Barnabas, this is discussed a lot by a lot of DS fans as well as myself. When Barnabas came out, he was a very, very bad boy. He kidnaps Maggie Evans. Yeah, spank, spank Barnabas. You don't like the Devlin Winters thing, do you? Where they try to get married. You don't like them as a couple, right? They're all right. Yeah, yeah. Um, well, they should have got together. Now to the point of that, um, in the beginning episodes, when when Victoria Winters is saved by the ghost of Josette from Matthew Morgan, you hear Victoria and Elizabeth have this conversation where Josette saved me, and Elizabeth tells the story where her great aunt was saved by a woman in white, which was Josette, the ghost of Josette Dupre Collins. Now, this is another hint that Victoria is a Collins, but Elizabeth interprets it as well. Well, actually, it's Victoria says, "Well, maybe I'm related to Josette. Maybe I'm. Well, that would mean you're a Collins. Not necessarily. You would be part of Collins, but we're going to know that Josette doesn't have any kids, unfortunately, um, because she gets put under a spell, and she jumps off Widow's Hill. Yeah, right, right. So, yeah, are there other versions of Barnabas, other variants? Yeah, there could be. Now, I've talked about how the 1970 parallel time room, I do believe another version of Victoria Winters came through before they ever actually discovered the room. And she just left. She didn't stick around. And I do believe that's happened without anyone knowing. I do believe that's something writers could play with. You could also play with, there's another parallel time room where, again, because Barnabas was a vampire in our time, maybe there's another exact timeline, a replica timeline they call it, I believe, where the doors open and you just see darkness, and then you see candlelight, and then you see Barnabas, and it's like, wait, why is Barnabas in there? Well, here he's a vampire and he's more vicious. Again, there are a lot of what ifs with Dark Shadows. Could this happen? Sure. we've seen, again, we've seen parallel time, we've seen time travel. Now, with parallel time, the reason I'm more sticking to parallel time is we've seen alternate versions of personalities. Their names are similar, but their personalities are different in a sense. Or uh, their life has just changed by the decisions they made. Again, what if decisions were similar enough but different in certain ways? Again, it's something you could play with Dark Shadows. I do believe there are other Barnabas variants and other variants of other people, because I do believe there's more than one parallel time room behind a door in Collinwood. It's a big ass house. It has 40 rooms. We really haven't seen all the rooms. We just haven't. It might feel like we have. I know we saw a lot of the tower room at times. That's another room we saw. Now, I'm sort of wondering how does parallel time or alternate time bands affect the house from a secret passage standpoint? Because I love how in 1841 parallel time, there's going to be a moment, and I know I'm jumping way ahead because I haven't covered this episode yet, where Gabriel comes from behind the secret panel. It's the same secret panel in the drawing room that we all love and know. Um, Again, there are many secret passages in Collinwood. So, and also there again, it leads you to interpretation. To there are many alternate realities inside that house behind locked doors. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. Is there another variant of Barnabas around? Oh God. Um, that would be scary, scary. Could you imagine that? That would be scary shit. Um, so let me know what you guys think. Do you think there are other variants of Barnabas around? You guys have a great day. I'm going to do a read along right after this video. See ya.